Very fun. Very
Yeah.
exciting.
Well, it's very exciting to have you on here. And we ran an article in the Zebra this month. There's no print issue, obviously, because of the pandemic going on, but we did run it on our website, and it was titled "How to Find the Right Rescue."
Yep.
And obviously, in this kind of atmosphere, people are spending a lot of time at home. It's probably a great time to find a dog.
Yep. It honestly is that it has become, it's a thing. Everybody's looking for a dog right now. So, and there are a lot of good reasons for that. There are good human reasons and good dog reasons for that. One of the best things about the human reason to do it is that, um, your own mental health. Like there's nothing like being with a dog. Dogs live in the moment. They don't worry about what's ahead. They aren't filled with regret about what happened before. They are right there in the moment with you. And that in this particular time, that is a wonderful thing to have right next to you. We're spending our coronavirus time with 11 dogs and a cat in our house because we do have a litter of puppies here right now. And it
That's
has
a lot of mindfulness.
honestly, it's just kind of a godsend because it gives you the everyday, it's something to do every day. It's nurturing. There's a schedule. There's something that's really has to be done. That is good. And so it really does help. So there's that. But there's also the dog. So it's great for, everyone has the idea, wow, why don't we get a dog right now? Because that'd be something for us to do. It'd feel great, make us feel less isolated. There's a lot of touching and cuddling, which of course, where there's not a lot of that happening right now.
Right.
And it also gets you outside, and that can also be kind of a tonic for these times too. It gives you something to do outside. So for your mental health, it really is a great time to get a dog. It's also great for the dog because this time, one of the difficult things when you bring a new dog into your house is the adjustment period. And so, right, and a lot of parents tell kids, no, we can't have a dog, we're not home enough. And that is usually very much true. Right now, it is not true. So you are home enough. And so in terms of for the dog, this is a great time to bring a dog into your house and help them get adjusted. So yeah, everybody's doing it. It's a thing.
Is it really a thing? Are there stats showing that there's a lot of adopting or fostering going on right now?
Yes, it's not just me saying that. There are hilarious stories it's become a real story, like in New York Times and People Magazine, the Atlantic, like stars are just like us. They're adopting and fostering dogs too. So, I mean, there are stories about shelters being emptied, which is fantastic. And I can tell you from our own, so nationally, that's kind of a thing. There's stories about that. And just from what I see, I foster for Homeward Trails Animal Rescue. And I can just tell you that they had their best month ever, and they have been in business for 20 years. And so they adopted out 270 dogs this past month, which is the highest on record.
Wow.
And so just huge silver lining. That's just fantastic. And there are more people fostering than ever before, because of course it's a great time to foster too, because we don't really know how long this is all going to last. And fostering is it's a temporary kind of thing. It's often a few weeks. Everybody can kind of do that right now. And so, Homeward Trails has, I can tell you that normally when you foster, you get on a list, you get approved, you submit your application, and then you're on the list. So when dogs come in, they send out an email, hey, who can foster this dog? And they do kind of a profile of what kind of a house the dog would thrive in. Mm-hmm. Then people respond or not. And so typically it might take a few emails for a dog to get a foster to be like, yeah, I guess I could do that. Because usually people have business trips or it's not really a good weekend or whatever. And so even though there are 500 different foster families in Homeward Trails, sometimes it takes a few emails to get somebody to raise their hand and say, yeah, I'll take that one. Mm-hmm. Not now. Now it is just hilarious because everyone has applied to be a foster. And so now, boom, boom, it's like you got to buzz in or you're just not going to get the dog, which is a fantastic problem to have.
And are there new foster families in addition to the families that are always, kind of that they can bank on?
Absolutely. In fact, two of my people who I work with, either clients of mine or people who have adopted dogs of mine, are now fostering for Homeward Trails. So there are tons of new fosters. So that's just really, really good. And so I'm hoping that a bunch of those people will have a great experience and find out, wow, this is rewarding, and then continue to do this. So
sure. And it really just goes to show you one more upside down, in this coronavirus time, this result that, kind of nobody really saw coming, but it's really been a wonderful, like you said, it's a silver lining for sure in this ridiculously dark cloud. When new fosters come on, do you know a rate? I mean, could you even guess like how many just end up keeping the dog that they foster the first time? And I know they call it a foster fail, but I wish that they would come up with a better name, because it's like sometimes it's not a fail,
Absolutely. Sometimes it's a fantastic success.
Right.
And it's okay to sign up to foster with the idea that you kind of might decide to keep the dog, because you do have first dibs. What you can't do is allow, you can't just pretend you're going to adopt the dog out and have somebody go through the whole process and then say, no, never mind, you can't have it. But if you get the dog, and before adopters truly come in and get into the process, if you come to the conclusion that you want to keep the dog, there is nothing wrong with that. And that's a great way to kind of find out how even having a dog at all fits in your house and how this particular dog fits in your house. So it can be a wonderful way to do it. I don't have statistics on that, but it sure does happen a lot. And it does happen, I think, more in the beginning. I think often the foster fails are like the first dog you had, as opposed to the seventh. We've had 175 and we've only kept 2. So I think that's pretty good. So.
Wow, 175. That's impressive. I mean, that's
only because we take in litters. So
that's true.
You don't get to that number unless you take litters. So it's not like it's different. So we have
don't try to put that number.
So we've had 8 this spring, and so there are tons of people like me. There are tons of people like me who take in litters one after the other, and it's just fun. And it just kind of you start to know what you're doing, and then it's kind of an easy thing to do, and it's fun.
Right. And when someone takes a foster in, is there a certain amount of weeks, or is it just basically they're taking the foster until an adopted family comes forward?
So the general understanding, different rescue groups kind of do it differently, I think, but mostly when you sign up to foster, you're basically saying, yes, I'll keep the dog until an appropriate, till a nice match is made. Of course, if something happens, every now and then it will turn out that maybe the dog, if you take in an adult dog, the dog doesn't get along with your dog, or ends up chasing your cat too much, or it turns out that the dog you took in is actually uncomfortable around children. And when there's that kind of a mismatch, then immediately our rescue anyway will shuffle things around and send that dog to dog. But typically, you kind of keep the dog until the right home is found, and it gives you an opportunity to work with the dog. It's your chance to help that dog along, and that's what's fun, is that you are using your good fortune and your good luck to help shape that dog, help that become a little bit more adoptable by teaching them some good stuff. And
absolutely. It's an opportunity. And if you ever wanted to do it, and it is nice though, to be like, if you have those fears, what if this doesn't work out? What if, it doesn't get in my family? And, my dog usually gets along with other dogs, but what if this one isn't? So it's nice to know that there is a built-in out. Yeah.
You bet. And the rescue will help you with the placement. That's the thing, is that nobody wants a poor placement. And so the more forthcoming you are with what your home structure is, who's there, do you have a cranky dog? Do you have a scared cat? Do you have a grandma? The more forthcoming you are with all that stuff, the better the rescue can do with matching you with a foster that will work well for you. Obviously, the fit doesn't have to be as great when you're just fostering compared to adopting. Mm-hmm. But it's still, the process is the same. It's you thinking through what your life is in your house and accurately describing, what you can offer for a dog, and then the rescue group going, aha, I know, I'm going to put this one in that house.
Right. So you have a litter right now, and the serial puppies, and There's one of them.
It's baby Cheerio.
There's Cheerio, that good girl Cheerio.
She was sleeping. I just picked her up. There's Cheerio.
So you've gotten to know the dogs. You were there, I believe, a day or two after they were born. When people come to adopt the dog and they come to visit the dogs and to meet them, do you kind of get to know the people a little bit and have the puppies in mind, or do you let them, or is it kind of an organic process that you kind of let flow and play out?
So it actually depends. This litter has been a little bit different because we had them so early. And people were approved and committed so early because it's the coronavirus time. So everyone in the world was applying for these puppies. So we got a head start. I am not the decider. There is an amazing adoption coordinator, Lauren Tavar, who is my person. And she is the one who gets the applications, looks through them, thinks about them, talks to the people on the phone, talks them through, hang on, are you sure you're ready for puppyhood? And she does all that kind of important vetting. Mm-hmm. And then once she says, yep, this is good, we think you'd be great, then that's when the people come to my house, meet the puppies, and choose who's right for them. And typically while they're here, sometimes they really know who they want. Sometimes. Mm-hmm. And so once they're approved, that's their chance to come here and for sure pick which one will be theirs. And then that one gets to go home. I mean, they all get to go home when they're 8 weeks old. And so, because it's good, you want puppies to stay with their litter until they're 8 weeks old because they learn all sorts of good stuff from being around their litter mates. And they also learn a lot of good stuff from being around our adult dogs. So that's good for them too.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, do you ever, are you sad when they leave? I'm sorry, I can't help it.
No.
It's gotta be so tough.
That is the huge question. And particularly for people who are considering fostering, it is something to think about. And it was what we thought about when we first fostered. We actually I told my contact to give us puppies we won't like because I really...
Are there any out there?
See, what we've learned is no. So we were worried that we could never get, happily hand over a dog that we had loved. Right. And the truth is, it is difficult. So, and I did cry the first 5 times, maybe the first 12 times. But what happens though, and what I can tell you for sure, is that you learn that this is how it's supposed to go. You were just supposed to be this, you're just this little point in their journey. You're just getting them from here to there, and it becomes so clear to you over time. And sometimes it becomes clear to you the next day. These dogs that you thought were so, they were so settled in with you and they loved you so much, like 2 days later, you can get pictures of them snuggled in with their family, and it's utterly clear. Oh, that's where you're supposed to be. So that
gratifying that must feel.
Oh my, it's beyond gratifying. So that was long ago. I got that lesson. So I haven't cried for a long time.
Oh, that's good.
Because I just know this is it's going to work out great. And we have had a few adoptions that haven't worked out, but even then, they ultimately work out because they come back and then we get them right. And so it just feels like it does work out the way it's supposed to. So I'm not sad and I'm not nervous anymore. But it certainly is something that new fosters have to work through and have to figure out. But this is what all experienced fosters feel. I promise you. You learn this is just what you're there for. You just help them along. It's super gratifying.
Yeah, I've seen